So I got a bunch of comments from you guys asking me to address yesterday's live streams from Rooster Teeth as well as Funhaus, where they addressed the closure of the company. The Funhaus stream is on their channel and the Rooster Teeth special live stream has now been archived, I think on a new channel on YouTube called RT Archive. I'll link this video down in the description as well, so if you haven't seen it, you can go check it out yourself. But I just wanted to say a few general things about that stream. I watched it live. Obviously, there were many tears. It was very moving to watch, and especially Geoff. I mean, it wasn't easy to watch that man. He seemed so destroyed, and which is totally understandable. I think not only did he really care about the company, he really and genuinely cared about the employees, and he felt responsible towards them, and to see it all crumble in front of his eyes. It must be rough for him to see a company that you start from almost nothing and then you grow it into this thing that becomes almost too big to fail, it felt like at some point, and then to ultimately see it falling apart and shut down must be traumatic and not a good thing. So I was really feeling with him watching that live stream, and it was good that he was coming on camera, because in the beginning of the stream he wasn't there and I was like, come on man, where's Geoff? At least people like him should be there. And then he came on later on, and I did appreciate that. I think it was necessary and it was a good thing to do. However, people like Gus, people like Gavin, Matt weren't there, which felt wrong. It felt inappropriate in my personal opinion, and I would have hoped that they would be there and at least, at least phone in if you're at the doctor or whatever, do something that you contribute to this final moment of this company and just share your thoughts. But that's just my opinion. Throughout the stream, I think a lot of people were inquiring about the future of RWBY, the future of Red versus Blue, and so on. They couldn't give concrete answers at this point, which is also understandable because they simply don't know where all this is going to go. But I think they did confirm that Camp, the current season will be finished. I think one of those guys said like the last episodes are basically done and they plan to release them as was the initial plan. Now, apparently they're not shutting down tomorrow. They will keep existing for another 2 months. And if we can trust the reporting of Inside Games, which is Lawrence Sonntag's and Bruce Green's channel, they spoke about, and they said that a lot of employees have been offered severance packages, and apparently how big that packages will depend on how long you've been with the company. At least that's what I heard. But let me share some thoughts on this live stream, specifically this Rooster Teeth live stream as a whole, because I feel there were so many moments in there that were so emblematic of why this company failed and why it is now where it is. First of all, Jordan Levine, who is Rooster Teeth's general manager, to me, this is just my interpretation of how I saw it, was completely free of any emotion. I mean, he was trying, right? He was trying to emote. That's how it felt when I was watching it. But there just was nothing genuine there from it. It felt to me like, again, this is just me reading into this, like he's already at the next job. Because I think he was basically sent down from Warner Brothers to head this company and to lead it into a greater future. And it was very clear from the beginning that he is not very attached to the company per se. That's how it felt. Again, it's just my observation. And that he doesn't really understand what Rooster Teeth is and what it stands for and what kind of direction and guidance it would need in order to flourish again. So that was more than omnipresent in his appearance in this live stream, because he's like, this is an industry-wide issue. It is not just Rooster Teeth, and mainly it is because of an ever-changing media landscape, and you get all this corporate jibber-jabs that he just vomits over this whole live stream. It was, personally for me, an absolutely disgusting take on this whole thing. Because sure, look, I'm not saying that's not true. There is an ever-changing media landscape, and it did feel for a long time like that Rooster Teeth was like catching up on trends rather than creating them, and that the changing media landscape with new trends like TikTok and so on was always one step ahead of them, and they were just trying to catch up on all of that and kind of failed on that. So it's not wrong what he's saying, but at no point the core problem and the core issue of this company has been mentioned in this whole live stream, right? And that is that at no point the complaints of their core audience have been addressed, that at no point the scandals and what happened within the company have been addressed, and that at no point the mismanagement that happened allegedly within the company have been addressed at all. Everyone is just sucking each other off, telling each other how great everything is and what great things we achieved and how far we've come, which is, again, it's true. It's not that they haven't achieved many things and that they turned this company into like a very special place. I'm not saying don't talk about this, but by never extensively addressing the scandals, the things that happened in the company, you lose so much of your credibility. And I think, there are other things, like I said, for example, the complaints of their core audience. A lot of people are like, well, dude, you guys mix too many politics into your content and we didn't like it. And in fact, we told you many times we don't like it. And you then in return come to us, Rooster Teeth's first members, and tell us, then don't be part of this company. Please leave the company. We don't want you here. That's a decision you can make as a company. Sure, you're standing for your values. That's all good. But then you pay a price like you did a few days ago by shutting down the company. But having this massive elephant in the room of all the scandals and everything and all the wrongdoing that allegedly happened in this company and never clearly addressing it, that's the biggest problem here. Sure, we got short, heartfelt statements, videos that addressed the issues. I'm not saying it was never addressed, but with things like the Mika Burton thing, the Haywood thing, the Kovic thing, the Kdin Jenzen thing, this is stuff that you should have addressed in extensive formats. You should have sat down and not just in one podcast episode, but in several podcast episodes. Bring in people from the company, make them talk about the issue. How was it for you? Do you think you had a part in it? I know that's uncomfortable. I know that's not in line with what your company stands for, which is like fun comedy and hey, we're just playing, right? But that's what is necessary. This is the price that, in my opinion, you would have had to pay in order to gain some credibility back. But by always just issuing short video statements that are heartfelt but then quickly going back to funny comedy videos because we're an entertainment company, you just lose all your credibility. And a company like Rooster Teeth always, in my opinion, stood for authenticity. The reason why Achievement Hunter worked so well, the reason why at its peak the Rooster Teeth podcast was so successful was because it felt, I don't know if it was, but it felt like an authentic, a real experience. And the second you allow a shadow like the one caused by all these controversies to sit over your content and your company without extensively addressing it in an approachable and eye-level manner, you lose the core of what your company is about. And I understand that probably yesterday's stream was not the right place to do that. Maybe it was, to be honest. Maybe it would have been the place to come out and say, sure, there is an ever-evolving media landscape. This is an industry-wide issue. All these things are not wrong, but we want to talk about the mismanagement. This is where we went wrong. This is where I didn't pay enough attention. Some people taking the mic and saying, yeah, I saw this, I witnessed that, and it wasn't right, and I apologize. We all took part in some things that weren't right, and you just kind of try to come clean with the things that happened, because it's also a question of respect and fairness to the fans. If you put yourself on the radar as like this authentic and real company that has these approachable characters and really almost simulates friendship to an extent, right? To give their fans the feeling of like you're part of this clique, you're part of this group, and you're inside this community as an important member, even you're just a fan, and you then leave significant stories like the ones we all heard about unaddressed, basically, besides like I said, small, heartfelt, emotional apology videos, then obviously people start to question the values that you claim to stand for, right? And I think, again, maybe yesterday wasn't the perfect time to address this in this particular stream, but it feels like this is the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest missed opportunity for this company to kind of try to save their authenticity and what they really stood for by coming forward and extensively discussing what happened, why it happened, what you do to avoid it in the future, and how it impacted the company as a whole and the company culture and so on. Instead of just having this, what felt like a very corporate live stream where everyone tells each other how great everything is and was, and oh my god, it just didn't even feel like an authentic Rooster Teeth stream that addresses the closure of this company at the end of this long journey. It felt like this statement that Jordan Levine wrote as well, like a stream version of that statement. And if you haven't read it, I'll link it again. It's posted on this Variety article about the closure of the company. It's on the very bottom. It's fairly lengthy. I read it on stream a few days ago, so I'm not going to read it again. But it's a despicable statement that says absolutely nothing, and in my opinion is emblematic of what went wrong with this company, because it's just like a corporate expression of someone who's been with the company for 4 years, who doesn't really care about the company, who doesn't know what it's about, and now has to write a corporate, kind of cringy, unfortunate statement about the company closing. But to be honest, in my head, I'm already at the next company. I'm moving on in my career, and soon I'm going to have a big paycheck again, so I don't really care. That's how this statement feels. It's absolutely despicable. It's a horrible thing. And this whole live stream felt like a manifestation and illustration of that statement. It was a charade. Okay, that's how it felt to me. And I'm not trying to diminish the heartfelt moments of tears and sadness from people like Barbara Dunkelman and many of the other employees. Of course they are genuine. Of course they are real. But overall, it felt wrong. The whole thing felt wrong, but at the same time kind of in line with what Rooster Teeth has become. So guys, that's kind of my take on this Rooster Teeth special live stream. To be honest, as a last word, I just want to say I wish all of these guys the best. None of the employees deserve that. I do get a lot of comments of people saying like, all these horrible employees, they just did a horrible job and they created bad content. I strongly disagree with that. All these people are working hard. And the reason why often the content is not up to par or not to a level that would satisfy the fans is because of other reasons, external factors, management reasons, and so on. It's not, in my opinion at least, that you can blame these employees, the animators, the writers, and so on for that. So I wish them all the best. I hope they can all pick themselves up, land on their feet, find a new job, get back into the industry, and move on from all this. Because, again, I don't think any of these people deserve it. And that was the only part that felt real about the stream. All these people authentically communicated that, this is the end of an era for them and they're going to miss the company and working with their colleagues. So I felt that part at least was real. But anyway, this is my take. These are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button. I appreciate you watching. Subscribe to the channel. Join our Discord for more debate and discussion about Rooster Teeth. I hope to see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. I'm out. Bye.